Harry's wife. He's thriving through her. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. When you look at Prince Harry, what do you think? Ginger Poodle being bossed around by his handler? Druggy Thicko talking out of his arse? Pussy-whipped Prince always doing what his wife tells him to? Well, those might be some of your answers. If you're a sugar, of course, you'd probably say he's living his best life. As a consequence of being so in love with the lady who dresses like an overripe burst tomato. However, if I invited you to dig deeper and explain, how do you think Harry feels most of the time? You might say anxious, spliffed out, confused, hurt, angry, bewildered. Those are probably some of the adjectives that you may well use to describe Prince Harry. What I wouldn't expect is for you to suggest that he is deliriously happy, really loving life, and thriving. Yet, an article by Mark Connor in the Scottish Daily Express, Farquhar, pass the salt and pepper, tells us Prince Harry is thriving without royal family mentality with supportive Harry's wife, says friend. The Duke has found a supportive partner in Harry's wife who fights for Harry's beliefs, which has emboldened him, the source also claimed. Well, we'll find out who this mysterious source is in a moment. But where is Harry's wife fighting for Harry's belief? Is it the case that she was there at court in London, urging him on with his one-man crusade to whip the media back into shape and save the press and associated media? No, she was nowhere to be seen. Perhaps she was supporting him with regard to the publicity and promotion of Spare. No, she was nowhere to be seen. Instead, she was hanging him out to dry, as I've explained in parts passim. Accordingly, what's going on? How can it be said that she's fighting for his beliefs? She evidently isn't. But it is the case that behind the scenes she will be supportive, in inverted commas, when it suits her to portray that veneer towards him. When it suits her to crank him up, to get into action, to tackle the press because she wants certain heads on plates, for instance that of Piers Morgan. It suits her to ensure that he writes certain things about the royal family in Spare that make them look bad as part of her ongoing smearing of them, and that makes her look good, because after all, in the egocentric mind of Harry's wife, she is the best and most wonderful person in the world, and everybody ought to know that. Everything revolves around her, and those who fail to buy into that are clearly extremely stupid. And, in the circumstances, they are evidently dim-witted haters. All told, Harry's wife is not supportive in the genuine sense because it is not driven by emotional empathy. Like any narcissist, the support that she provides is only provided because it enables her to get to one or more of the prime aims. The article explains that Prince Harry is thriving with his newfound freedom. Really? Outside the royal family? Well, again, this is a perception of freedom, isn't it? As you know, those of you who've been involved with a narcissist, your freedom went out of the window, along with many other things. He's therefore thriving, apparently, with his newfound freedom outside the royal family alongside his supportive partner, Harry's wife, according to one of his friends. It is claimed that Harry is no longer held down by the mentality of other working royals. Instead, the prince has found a supportive partner in Harry's wife who fights for Harry's beliefs, which has emboldened him, the sources also claimed. After Harry and Harry's wife stepped down from their royal duties in January 2020, the king's younger son has embraced his newfound freedom of being apart from the royal family. He has seemingly ditched their well-known mantra of never complain, never explain, which was adopted by his grandmother Queen Elizabeth II for 7 decades, after his Spill All Shitflix docuseries with Harry's wife and his bombshell memoir, where he spoke his mind on the firm. Referring to the caution which is normally adopted by royals in the palace when speaking publicly, the friend told the Sunday Times, "He's free from the shackles of that mentality." They added, "In Harry's wife, he has found someone supportive of that stance, and he's emboldened by that. But the bigger picture is that he believes there are some very significant wrongs that need to be righted." When the Duke and Duchess of Sussex left the royal family, they insisted that they would continue to serve the crown and support royal patronages while living in the United States and being financially independent. However, it seems they did not come to an agreement with the palace on what was later described as a half-in, half-out solution. By the end of March 2020, they officially bowed out of the firm and their senior roles altogether, agreeing not to use their HRH titles and eventually relinquishing their military and royal patronages. Well, clearly because he's thriving, this must be why he always looks so happy, except he doesn't. He looks irritated, angry, scowling. He looks anxious in the back of that cab that was the picture taken in New York recently. To suggest that he's thriving does not sit with the actual evidence, nor does it sit with the state of affairs when somebody's ensnared with a narcissist. To suggest that he's free from the royal family mentality, well, that's true, but that's not necessarily a good thing for Harry. To suggest that Harry's wife is supportive, she is only supportive to the extent that it serves a purpose for her. Otherwise, she could not give a rat's ass about him. This piece is simply another puff piece to make it seem like Harry is content and happy with the person that he is with. Interestingly, it gives no information as to who this friend is. Indeed, it doesn't even tell us the sex of that individual, just referencing they, therefore making it unclear whether they were male or female. Sources tell me that the friend, once left being interviewed by Mark Connor, left behind a banana on which had been written, "You are strong," and there were bronzer stains on the chair. I'll leave it for you to guess who that friend might have been, telling the press about how supportive she is to her husband, when all of the evidence goes to the contrary. People do not thrive when they're ensnared with narcissists. We steal your dignity, your self-worth, your self-confidence. We cause you to lose money. We cause you to lose friends. We cause you to lose your connections with your family. We may inflict upon you physical injury. We will grind you down. We will strip you of your personality. We will make you forget who you are. Thriving is never a word that is associated with anybody who finds himself in the grip of the narcissist. And the behaviour and the pictures of Harry do not accord with somebody who is thriving, and this is just another instance of Harry's wife seeking to tell the world something which everybody else knows is not true. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.